Lois and Sam Lane take the spotlight in this week's My Adventures with Superman episode titled Two Lanes Diverged. Sam Lane's paranoia reaches an all-time high as Waller and her goons track him down and he is forced to flee Clark and Jimmy's apartment. But Lois comes by to see her dear old dad and it puts her in the line of fire as well, and both lanes are forced to team up and go on the run. While they dodge damage and Atomic Skull, Jimmy gets invited to an alien symposium at Star Labs, where he has been asked to speak, being that he is Superman's pal. Jimmy of course can't wait and Clark tags along with him, and they have some real fun bonding moments together as friends before it's revealed that the conference is actually there to talk about the problems Superman presents to the world, and Jimmy will be debating said problem with Lex Luthor. I think it's really interesting how they have positioned Lex in this show. Lex is of course the Superman villain and he very much is here, but I like that they're also making him a Jimmy Olsen villain as well, being that Jimmy in just the last couple of episodes was the one who sort of set him on his path that he is currently on, where he went to Waller and teamed up with her and made LexCorp and sort of developing his own weapons and stuff, and now we see him becoming the classic Lex we know and love. You know, he's there spouting xenophobic rhetoric against Superman, saying they need to do things to stop him and all sorts of good stuff we expect of Lex. Lois and Sam meanwhile head into the underground tunnels to try and evade Task Force X, and we get some fantastic character development from both father and daughter, getting to see their past and how Sam and Lois always kind of hung out but then grew apart once Sam's military duty kicked in and sort of made him estranged to both his daughter and his dying wife. Speaking of Lois's mother, she's touched on quite well here, and in like most continuities, we learn that she passed away due to an illness when Lois was very young. Her Korean heritage becomes important to Sam and Lois's relationship as well, with Lois's mother's name in Korean meaning silver star, like the North Star, that Sam teaches Lois to follow to always find her way home. It's a beautifully written scene, and I love that they are incorporating bits of Korean culture into Lois's character. It really helps her stand out from all of the different Lois incarnations we've had over the years. Lois also being somewhat alienated from her father also nicely mirrors what Clark is going through, as he too is being sort of alienated from all of his friends, and he feels very different, especially from Lois, thanks to her being off working and running down leads, and they are like kind of two ships in the night. They always just pass each other but never really get to interact with each other, especially over the last couple of episodes, and that's been totally on purpose because of this. Sam and Lois's escape brings them into contact with Sam's old friend Winslow Schott, better known to comic fans as Toyman, who warned Sam that Waller's men were coming for him. Schott in the show is just depicted as Geppetto from Pinocchio. He's just this kindly old man who has a toy store and he makes toys and gadgets. That's a fantastic take on the character, since usually it goes the other way and we get a more younger character, or in the case with most modern media, we just get the Hiro Okamura Toyman, the young Japanese guy. Winslow is only in the show for a brief window of time, but his character takes an interesting turn as it's revealed he's just a guy who's in over his head, and he is the one who sold out Sam and Lois to Deathstroke, as Slade soon appears and tries to take Sam and Lois down, but their fight spills into the nearby Star Labs conference, bringing both our A and B plots colliding together as Superman steps in to stop Task Force X, battling them alongside Sam, who gets an awesome Gundam-inspired shield and also manages to get a hold of one of Deathstroke's swords, proving himself to be quite a formidable fighter despite his portly stature. The fight is quite brutal and spills over most of the conference, and that's the problem, as Lex is able to use this to paint Superman as, you know, someone who's causing the destruction and not someone who is actually actively trying to save people. Even Jimmy kind of goes against what Superman did and is kind of left in a position where he should have probably defended his friend, but he ended up tucking tail and running, alienating Clark further. And to make matters worse, Clark later overhears Lois tell her father that Clark is very strange, although it ends up being one of those situations where he leaves and then Lois kind of pours her heart out about Clark and tells Sam that she really loves him and wants him to accept that. Superman is left with no one to turn to, so he activates the beacon he got and messages his cousin. hoping that she'll get the message and come to Earth and be with her family. And the episode leaves out on the armored Kryptonian we've been seeing destroying worlds over the course of the first season and some of this season arrive above Earth, seemingly implied to have maybe gotten that message, maybe, or at least maybe it's just a coincidence that they're turning up right now. I guess we'll find out in the next episode. My Adventures with Superman continues its run of just stellar episodes, finally focusing on Sam and Lois's turbulent relationship. I loved everything that was revealed about their past and just how much their Korean culture plays into their relationship and informs them as characters. I'm very much looking forward to Kara finally making an appearance next episode and the effects that will have on Superman being viewed as a threat by Metropolis and Lex Luthor. I'm going to give this episode of My Adventures with Superman a 10 out of 10.